Hey guys, and welcome back to WLW Watsons. We miss you guys. Tonight we are making pizza with the family, with the kids. This is a easy to do recipe. Just sit back, relax. Recipe will be listed in the description below so that you can make your own pizza at home and enjoy it with whoever you like. Okay guys, so if my family could eat pizza every day, they would. We absolutely love pizza. And I especially love this recipe because it reminds me of mellow mushroom. If you have a mellow mushroom in your area, this is a copycat recipe from them. Just remember, when making this dough, the molasses is what gives it that taste like mellow mushroom. So you always want to make sure you add that to this pizza dough recipe. And use your oil first. If you use your oil, it makes it much easier for your molasses to flow out of whatever tablespoon that you are using for this pizza dough. I doubled this dough recipe, and I was able to get out 2 mediums and 4 individual small pizzas. The pizzas for the kids was actually big. It was a decent size for them. So I was able to get 2 mediums, 1 for me, 1 for my husband, and 4 for the children. And this would be a great recipe to do for like a pizza bar party, for maybe a kid's birthday party or a family get together or game night or anything like that, because you can make the dough ahead of time and store it in the refrigerator. You can also take this dough and make it ahead of time and put it in the freezer and pull it out when you're ready to have pizza for that night. Just put it in the refrigerator the night before and it'll thaw out just in time for you to make pizza that night. When you're mixing this dough, you're always going to want to start out with the paddle mixer first. You're going to create a little well in the center of the flour like I'm doing here. This is the dough hook. You're going to use the dough hook after you use the paddle mixer. You're going to create a little well for your liquid to pour down so it prevents the liquid from splashing so much in your bowl when you're mixing your dough. So you're going to slowly pour it inside the well, and you're going to make sure you get every bit of that goodness that is inside that pot. So all of that molasses that's sitting at the bottom, make sure you scoop that out and put it in your pizza dough, because I'm telling you, that's what makes this dough. And this dough is also a vegan dough. Vegans can use this dough as well. They have no dairy or eggs, milk, anything. Nothing is in this recipe that you can't use for a vegan. So you'll start off with the paddle so that you can get it incorporated for about 1 to 2 minutes. And then you'll take your paddle off. You don't need it on there that long, just to get it mixed up good. You'll take your paddle off and make sure that you get all of your dough off of your paddle attachment. Once you get all of that off of your paddle attachment, then you can switch out your dough hook so that you can knead your dough. The dough hook is what's going to knead the dough. Now, granted, you can use this recipe and mix it by hand, but it is going to take you some time to mix that dough up and get the correct consistency that you need and that stretch that you'll need for pizza dough. So once you remove everything off of your paddle attachment, you're going to switch it out to your dough hook. When you use your dough hook, you're going to knead on a medium-high speed for 15 minutes. You have got to knead this dough for 15 minutes to get the correct stretch that you need. So while our dough is kneading in the machine, we're just going to oil any bowl that you're going to put your dough in once it's kneaded. So you're going to want to coat that bowl with a good amount of oil so that way your dough does not stick to whatever bowl you're putting it in. And I just put a little bit of olive oil in there, mixed it around the bowl real good, and then I took my dough out of my mixer, and you're going to is the consistency that you want your dough. You want it to be able to stretch and pull. So when I took the dough out of my bowl, I then added it to the larger bowl for it to proof. You're going to want to proof your dough. You have to proof your dough for it to double in size, for it to be the right size that you need for your pizza. So right now it doesn't look like it's a lot of dough, but once it doubled in size, and here you can see my bowl was stuck because I had my mixer on for so long, I had to kind of work it out of the bowl. You will get that sometimes, especially if your bowl rocks on your mixer. And I've had this mixer for quite some time. So you're just going to form a ball, and then you're going to put it into your bowl, your oil bowl, and sit it to the side. Now you can sit this in the oven on no heat with just the light on in the oven for 30 minutes and it'll double its size, or you can sit it in the back of the stove on the top of the oven. You're going to sit it in the back with the eye on, with the stove on for like 150 degrees. And you're going to make sure you want to wrap the top of it in saran wrap and cover it up with a towel. Even if you put it inside the oven, you're going to want to make sure you wrap it up and cover it with a warm, damp towel. Again, when you put it in the oven, do not turn the oven on, just cut the oven light on. If you're going to sit it on top of the stove, you're going to want to cut your oven on to 125 degrees, sit it to the back of the oven, and cover it up. Now with your yeast, when you open a brand new pack of yeast, you're going to want to make sure that you store that yeast correctly, or when you go back to use it, it won't be any good because your yeast is an active fungus. So you put it in an airtight container, put it in the back of your freezer, and anytime you use it, it'll still be fresh when you pull it out the freezer. That's a tip for you guys. Now my dough has doubled in size. See how big it's gotten since that little ball that we put in here? So you'll pat it just a little bit to pull the air out and form a large dough ball. You're gonna flour a station that you're using to create, make sure that it is a clean, dry station. You don't want it to be wet because you're gonna put your flour on it. Take your dough out of your pan, and then you're gonna portion it into the size pizzas that you wanted. This is where I took it and I kind of kneaded it just a little bit to get a ball, and then I broke it down for the 6 pizzas that we were going to make. Now after you divide your dough, you're going to want to proof it again for another 30 minutes. Now you can put this on a cookie sheet and cover it with plastic in a towel and do the same method, or you can roll them into the balls and put them back into the bowl like I did for it to proof another 30 minutes. Now, this turned out to be such a lovely project for the kids. Making this pizza dough gives your children an opportunity, or even just yourself in a group of your friends or your spouse, whoever, your siblings, your mom, your dad, gives you guys the opportunity to make your own pizza at home, and it takes the same amount of time that it would take for you to order a pizza and wait for it to get delivered to the house. So when I make my pizzas this way, I use a brick stone that goes inside of your oven. You can get them off of Amazon or Walmart, and I will leave a link along with the recipe in the description for you to get a pizza stone. The pizza stones are the best thing to cook your pizza on. It gives it that nice crust and crunch at the bottom of your dough as if you were in a pizzeria. So you'll put your pizza stone in the oven on 500 while you're making your pizza, and by the time you're done adding your toppings, you put it onto the parchment paper and put it directly onto the stone for about 5 minutes. Open your oven, slide the pizza off the parchment paper, and put it directly onto the pizza stone and cook it another 2 to 3 minutes. So it takes almost 8 minutes to make a fresh pizza. It comes out delicious. And when that pizza comes out of the oven, you are going to want to coat your crust with some garlic butter. And yes, we use that minced garlic that we made the night before in another video. You guys, this is delicious. Top it with some parmesan around the crust of the pizza. I promise you, you will not want to order another takeout pizza. Please make this pizza and let me know how you guys liked it. Thank you for sticking around with us. Remember to keep God first. We love you.